Good morning and welcome back to the channel. Apologies if this one is going out a little bit later than my normal video releases, as I've had a very busy schedule this week. I've been doing a lot of work for my members area. Now today, where are we? Well, we're going to take a look at Bang Tao Beach, a very popular beach here on the island and becoming more and more popular. Just behind me is the Rava Beach Club, which is quite a new addition to this area. About 9 months, maybe 12 months ago, I covered this when they were building it, and it was a bit of a mess to say the least, but I'm glad to say now it's built, it looks fantastic. Of course, I understand why building is going on. It's not going to look the prettiest, but the companies could make more of an effort to keep the areas tidy, especially in the more tourist areas. But today we're going to be looking at the beach here. Now, Bang Tao is a very long beach, and the beach itself goes by many names. Of course, you have Bang Tao Beach. You have an area that you could call the Laguna Beach, which is where we're standing right now. We're just near to the Dusatani in the Laguna area, but Laguna area is part of a Bang Tao. So Bang Tao is a very large area indeed. And then further along, you have a section called Layan Beach, but it's all one beach. Bang Tao Beach is the second longest beach here on the island. You can see people already on the beach this morning. It's quite early, it's just after 9:30. I'm having to get out early today because I've got to get this video sorted for release later today. Normally 2:30 in the afternoon, but it may be a little bit later, unfortunately, so please forgive me. So today, as I've said, we're going to be looking at the Bang Tao Beach, and we're going to be comparing it to a beach I covered a few months back. If you follow the channel regular, you will know Kamala Beach, another very popular beach here on the island and one of my personal favourites at the moment. So we're going to look at the advantages and disadvantages of both of those beaches, depending on your personal situation. Both areas are fantastic to stay. It doesn't really matter which area you stay in, they're both fantastic. And what a pretty beach it is. This area has a lot of beach clubs. In fact, I believe this area, Bang Tao, has the most beach clubs to pick from across the island, even more than Patong, believe it or not. So let's touch on the weather first. You can see it yourself. No rain today, a little bit of cloud, sun coming through. As I've said, it's still quite early. It hasn't been as nice as it was a week ago. It was blazing hot, blue skies, but we have seen a few days where it's been a little bit more cloudy, not quite so much sunshine, but we're still getting plenty of it, so don't worry. And this is typical December weather. In the evening, we're getting a little bit of rain, not every evening, but some evenings, quite late on, so nothing to worry about. And that covers your weather, and that'll give you a clue to how it is at the moment. Of course, we're coming up to Christmas. We are how many days away? I'm just working it out. I'm trying to think. My mind stopped this morning. So we are coming up to Christmas. We're halfway through December, and the island is starting to look a little bit busier. In some places, you're going to find more tourists than others. And Bang Tao is definitely busy. I was down here a few days ago on the beach, and there was quite a lot, but I was here later in the day, closer to lunchtime, doing a little bit of B-roll shooting so that I can drop it onto this video and show you the different parts of Bang Tao. So, as you can see, the beach here is fantastic. Some would argue the beach in Bang Tao is better than Kamala. Personally, I would say beaches are something to an individual. What one person may like, somebody else may not like, but I do think both beaches are fantastic. There's not much between them. Of course, Bang Tao, if you just say it's just all one beach, which it is, and ignore the different areas that are called as you go along it, Bang Tao is longer than Kamala Beach. So if you're after a long beach where you can find not private spots but less crowded spots, then Bang Tao is going to offer that. But again, Kamala is a long beach, and certainly not all the areas are covered with sunbeds. So again, you can find your own space. So there's not much between it when it comes to beach. Now, what about facilities on the beach? Well, you can see Dusatani right on the beach. So you've got beach side hotels if you want to stay right on the beach. You've got the Dusatani. There's several running down all the way down. There's several hotels here. Now on Kamala Beach, you haven't quite got the number of choice. You do have the Sun Wing, of course, which I've covered. Take a look at that video if you haven't seen it. And you have the Novotel, which is the very northern part of Kamala Beach. Again, a great hotel right on the beach. However, Bang Tao offers more, because the Bang Tao area is simply bigger than Kamala. Now this is an advantage and a disadvantage. One of the disadvantages with Bang Tao is it's very spread out. So if you have your own transport, such as a motorbike or car hire, or don't mind paying for taxis and tuk-tuks, Bang Tao is a great option because you can get around the different areas. But if you don't have that personal transport, then it's going to be a negative, because as I've mentioned, it is very spread out. And to walk around Bang Tao, well, you're going to be very fit indeed. Whereas Kamala is more walkable. So if you don't have your own personal transport and you don't want to spend too much on taxis and tuk-tuks, because it can work out expensive if you're using them all the time, then Kamala is a better option, because you can walk around the town. You can walk around most areas comfortably. I'm not going to say it's small, because it's not. So again, you're still going to be fit if you're going to walk around, but it is more accessible. Whereas Bang Tao, the area, it's massive. You've got Cherntalay, Boat Avenue, of course you've got the market there on a Friday night. You've got all the nightlife in Cherntalay, you've got all the shops, the restaurants. It offers a massive choice, but depending on where you are staying on the beach, you're really not going to be in walking distance. You may be. If you're here, staying right where I am now, you could walk up to Cherntalay because it's not too far. But if you're staying down the southern part of Bang Tao, that isn't really walkable, and it would take you a long time to walk there and a long time to walk back, and I certainly wouldn't recommend it. So it really depends on where you're staying in this area as regards to the facilities, because as I've said, Bang Tao being so big is a positive and a negative depending on your personal situation. So if you have your own transport, then it's not going to be an issue. You can go wherever you want to go. What else is a plus and a negative? Well, for me, one of the biggest negatives at the moment in Bang Tao, and this has been going on for some time, is the amount of construction. Unfortunately, it is a massive problem, not a problem, but a massive issue at the moment across the whole of the island. I've never seen so much development taking place. Just check out the accommodation here, really nice, I've got to say, really, really nice. I believe this is still the Dusatani, I might be wrong. I don't know whether there's another hotel next door to it. I don't think there is, I think that's all the Dusatani. But going back to what I mentioned about the commercialisation and development, various areas here on the island, Bang Tao is under massive development because it's becoming a popular place. Now, of course, if you like very commercial areas or commercialisation of areas, then Bang Tao is a good area because it offers a lot of facilities. And of course, you only get those facilities with development. So for me, I'm not so keen on it, personally. It's nice to have things to hand, of course, but sometimes they go overboard. But let's be honest, Phuket is marketed as a tourist destination, and a destination for the wealthy to come and have a fantastic lifestyle. And if it's marketed that way, then you've got to expect development and commercialisation, because wealthy people want all the facilities at hand. Tourists want all those cafes and restaurants and shops and everything else that comes with it. So that is why Phuket is heavily being developed at the moment, because that's how they're marketing the island, so you have to expect it. But wherever you look here in Bang Tao, and I've been riding around the last few days, there is construction of some sort, whether it's tower cranes on the skyline or small developments of units for business, for, you know, more commercialization. Then it is quite widespread here, and it's something you're going to see if you're staying in the area. You're not going to be able to avoid it. So if that is something that you don't like, then maybe this isn't going to be such a good choice. You can see now, getting a bit busier as we wander down. I'm not going to walk all the way down the beach because it is a very long beach, and I don't want to make a massive long video today, because I've got to edit it, of course. Another place here that we're coming up to, and of course you have got an area that I'm going to call the entertainment area. It's not the main area as regards shops and restaurants, but there is a main entertainment area that you can come to in the evening, late afternoon, or in the daytime, whatever. Again, they've got another beach club there, plenty of restaurants, plenty of bars, not really much in the way of shops for shopping. There is some market stalls or little market vendors as you walk down the beach, I noticed the other day, that are now on the beach. So you might be able to get some stuff for the beach from them, you know, hats and swimwear, that type of thing. Of course, you're going to find restaurants and bars all round Bang Tao. But there is another area that you could say is the main area. Again, it depends on where you're staying, which is Boat Avenue, of course, which I have covered in the past, and I should be covering more of the nightlife here in the coming months, so stay tuned for that. If you haven't already subscribed, and I know there's a lot of people out there, I don't go on about it very often, but I can see on my channel stats, a lot of people watch the channel regular but don't subscribe. If you're one of those people, then please subscribe, or we could end up losing all the channel. It's that simple. I need to push the channels forward. I'm doing a lot of work on the members area. So again, my membership starts at 50 baht. So maybe you can have a look at that if you'd be interested in. And I'm going to be doing some offers in there, discounts and different things. So go and take a look. It's still in an early stage, but I am working very hard on it at the moment. So as I mentioned, Chuntalay, Boat Avenue, you could say that is the main area of Bang Tao. Again, it's down to personal opinion. There's not much in it between the entertainment area that's down here and Boat Avenue. Yes, Boat Avenue is slightly bigger. Cost-wise, well, I've spoke about this before. I wouldn't say there's much in it as regards between Kamala and Bang Tao as regards cost. The prices are about the same. Here in Bang Tao, sometimes you can pay a little bit more because it is marketed, this area, to the more wealthy, and we have some fantastic properties in this area that you can rent and buy, whether you're retiring or whether you're coming here as a tourist. So it is marketed to more of the wealthy clientele, so prices reflect that in some of the restaurants. But that isn't to say that you can't still find bargains, because if you watch my other channel, I'm all over the island and I'm always finding good bargains, money to save. So again, check out my foodies map. Yes, it will cost you a couple of dollars, but a couple of dollars, and there's loads of restaurants in there that are going to save you money. There's also some more expensive restaurants coming onto that foodies map now. There's well over 20 on there at the moment, adding restaurants all the time, and that will give you an idea of what's available on the island, and more will be added in the future, some of which I do not cover on the channels. They're just places that I go, and I'm not necessarily going to film them. I may in the future, I may not. So there's some insider tips of places that could save you potentially a lot of money. So restaurants here in the Bang Tao area, you've got a vast choice. You really have. The same as with accommodation. If you want choice, and a lot of choice on everything, so whether it be water sports, whether it be places to sit on the beach, accommodation, restaurants, Bang Tao is going to offer you that in bucket loads. And if you have your own transportation, as I mentioned earlier, then it's going to be very easy for you to access all those facilities. You can see yourself the beach, absolutely beautiful. Let's go over to the water's edge and take a little look. What a beautiful place to stay. You couldn't ask for more. You really couldn't ask for more. So, whether you're a family or a couple, both Kamala and Bang Tao are going to offer you great places to stay. Kamala being a little bit smaller than Bang Tao, so obviously a few less choices on facilities and things to do. But it really depends on your own personal choice. But I would say there's not much between them. And Bang Tao is probably now, with the amount of development going on, edging ahead of Kamala as regards facilities and just generally being able to stay somewhere that you've got everything to hand. Now, of course, if I've missed anything, then please jump into the comments and let me know. Sometimes I forget things. I'm trying to think of a lot of things at the moment. When I'm doing the filming, a lot of things on my mind whizzing around. So I try to cover everything I can, try to give you as much information as possible. But sometimes I miss things, so drop some comments down below. If I've missed something or something you want to point out, then please feel free, jump in there and let me know. I love to hear some feedback from people that watch the channel, whether you're subscribed or not. And of course, remember, give it a thumbs up. It does help the videos and it definitely helps the channel, and that's what I'm trying to do. As some of you will already know that follow me, I do have several channels, not just this tourist channel. I've just split it down so that people that want a certain content can just watch one channel, or you can watch all my channels if you like all my content, which I hope you do. Again, please drop some comments down below. Let me know. Let me know your thoughts on Bang Tao. The more I've spent time here, the more I've started to like the area, I must admit. The only negative for me is the amount of development. But as I've said, unfortunately, that is Phuket and that is the way the island is marketed. And development is not slowing. In fact, over the last 2 years, it has grown more and more and is now a phenomenal rate. And I can't see it slowing, to be honest. But there are benefits to it, as I've said. As you've seen that new beach club, now it's finished, it looks really nice. I don't know cost-wise, I don't think it's particularly cheap because, believe it or not, I do follow these places and I read reviews on it, and it's got, considering it's a new place, it's got very mixed reviews. Mainly staffing issues from what I can pick up, staff not being as helpful as they could be. Especially with these places when they market them to be exclusive, you expect, obviously there's a cost involved, you expect to get the service if you're paying for it, and some customers of theirs have left reviews stating otherwise. However, I do take some reviews with a pinch of salt. As I've mentioned on my other channel, you can't please everybody, unfortunately, and you're always going to get 1 or 2 negative reviews because maybe it's just not your cup of tea. I understand that. There was an incident down here last week, unfortunately, which sort of is not great, to be honest. The security could be a little bit better. I'm not going to go into too much detail, but it was on the media, the local media, and an unfortunate incident happened down here, and it makes me wonder where the security is. So just keep that in mind when you're on holiday or whether you're staying here. Be aware of people who are around you, any potential problems that you might encounter. Of course, good common sense is something I talk about a lot, which seems to be lacking when people come over here. They seem to leave the common sense on the aeroplane. Remember to pick it up when you're getting off, you know, because you do need it here more so than some other places. Okay, well, I think that's covered today's video. You can see it's getting busier. A few vendors at the back there. Do a little bit of shopping there for some drinks. I can see coconuts over there, and I know there's some swimwear shops and sunglass places. Go and have a mooch around there, have a look, and then work your way down here. But this is a great beach to walk along during the daytime, maybe not midday because it can get very hot. There's water sports on the beach, as you can see, but be on the side of caution. If you're gonna hire anything over here, I have mentioned this before, get your phone out, check it over before you hire it, whether it be a jet ski or anything else for that matter. Again, good common sense. So I hope you've enjoyed today's video. I'm now going to walk back to my bike, rush off home and get this sorted so that you people can watch it later today. And I guess that's it. I'll speak to you very soon. Wow, I just feel like sitting on the beach and just looking over the sea and enjoying the day. But unfortunately, that ain't gonna happen.